Hello, everyone. This is the Adam and Eve Show. This is your host, and AKA Speedy. And I got my co host coming in tonight, Mrs. Sewell. I'm going to add her in right now for y'all. Let me go ahead and get this started. We got a good topic tonight for y'all. Real good topic. A lot of people have an issue with this. A lot of people. Topic tonight will be child support. We're going to go over some of the aspects of it. Should it change? What aspects should change? What would help making co-parenting a lot better? Some of the after effects of it as well. So we're going to give y'all a good show tonight. Please call in if you got any personal experience, if you have any ideas. Because me personally, I haven't dealt with child support, but I've definitely seen child support from a lot of situations, definitely from men and women of our generation. It seems like it could have some, a few things can definitely be updated and upgraded. So we definitely gonna Miss Sewell. Always a pleasure to have you in.
Is it
My
breaking up?
co-host guys. No, you good. We clear. We real clear. We can definitely hear you. Introducing to the folks tonight because we definitely have to make this one a funny one. Child support. Yes, y'all. Child support. It's definitely been the craziest thing I've ever seen in life. No lie, with the government outside of this COVID-19 stuff. Because child support alone will have men begging, women ready to shoot somebody. I done seen a couple of sisters. I mean, I'm talking about, I done dropped off a little cousin and sweetheart said, "Oh, no, that's my blanket." Reached in my car and took the blanket out. I said, "Hey, look, I can't be getting into this no more. I can't be dropping nobody off and you talking about the left shoe belonging to me, the right shoe belonging to him." It's a little bit real. So I'm definitely going to open it up, guys.
Do it sound
Jump
choppy
in
on your
whenever
end?
you're ready to jump in. Just a little bit, but for the most part, you sound pretty good. Sound pretty good.
Let me see.
It's a little crazy too the way people got child support nowadays. I feel like some of it should change just as far as how they doing it in general. I still think some of the matrix, should still be the same. At the end of the day, it's there to support the child. So if you are the custodial parent, you taking care of the child, at least 85% of the time, the other parent should pay a portion so that way you can help out the actual person, because if that person is taking care of a child, they got to deal with the child, they got to live their own life, and this and the third. And anytime you add a human to any situation, big or small, it's definitely going to cause more weight around your personal life. So I want to get in with Ms. Sewell. You know the topic of the night. The topic of the night is child support. We're going to start off just with a few questions. Number one, we're going to go into this and we're going to get us to any of the callers calling in first as well. Do you deal with child support directly or indirectly? Mm-hmm. And if you don't, do you have any personal experiences with child support where you feel as though it should change just in that aspect? And I'll give you an example. I have a family member that was, he wasn't the sole parent. The mother had the child, which was all fine. They were working things out. They were co-parenting. The child lived with her. He paid child support. He lost money after around the 2008 or 2009 recession. He lost money. She gained money because of a circumstance in her field, her profession. She gained money. So his salary decreased, her salary increased. He took her back to court to work out a negotiation, and they raised his child support. They raised it, which was completely, he was baffled. He had to ask the judge, how do I make less? And you raise it. And they had some stipulations about where she lives, and it kind of threw me off. Raven, can you hear me, Raven? Is it choppy? Does it sound kind of muffled for you?
It was choppy at first, but now it's like normal now. But it was choppy.
Okay. Just got to check. We got a comment in and say that got some. Let's see. She says looks like it's breaking up a little bit. Let me go ahead and see if I can refresh as well, just to make sure we keep the stream good. I'm going to drop the link as well so we could put it out there for some of the fans. Raven, whenever you're ready, has child support, as far as it itself, has it affected you directly or indirectly? And if it has not, what's a situation outside of it where you basically, look at it as it should change because of, whatever you have to suggest?
Well, me personally, I'm married to the father of my child, so I don't have the child support issues as far as me and my kids are concerned. But child support did affect my family with um, a bonus child that I have. I feel like it's a lot of one-sided type of thing. Considering the fact that when the father has custody, I don't think a lot of times men are go down there to seek child support. So I feel like that women kind of on the end of I'm speaking of a deadbeat mom scenario, or maybe you don't have full custody of your child scenario as a female.
Which is a unicorn out here. We've never said a deadbeat mom. I've never even heard any. It don't even sound right to say a deadbeat mom. Listen, ladies. I know y'all be ready, but I'm just saying those out there, y'all should be ready to slaughter them because they make it look bad. I never even heard of a deadbeat mom, and hey, been some situations, but
it's deadbeat moms out here. It's definitely deadbeat moms, but it's like taboo to talk about because a lot of people don't want to talk about deadbeat moms because they feel like, oh, they're going to get bashed. But it's deadbeat mom as well as deadbeat fathers. So I feel like when the justice system, I feel like they don't advocate for men as far as the child support is concerned. I feel like they don't have a say so. Especially if welfare is the one taking the father to court. It's kind of like once welfare get involved, it's just like whatever welfare say, and the man is done. Like his life is over. Like now they stripping licenses and all kind of things. I know personal experience. We was paying hella bread, the child support for a child that we had partial custody of. So it's like, why should we have to pay all this money for child support when we have literally the equal amount of time with the child?
Which I've definitely seen a couple of cases because that's crazy that you say that. Some of these situations, I have literally seen people say, "Hey, listen, I take the child for 2 weeks. She takes the child for 2 weeks." Or a woman say, like, "I take the child for 2 weeks," or "I take him for a week and then we do a weekend," or they do a week and they do a weekend, and then for some reason, the judge will still order to pay. Most of the time, and I'm gonna throw it out there, ladies. Most of the time, I see more of the men, just from my personal experience, paying child support. I'm not gonna lie, ladies. I need to know. I've never seen a woman pay child support. Me personally, I'm not saying it's not out there. I've never seen a woman pay child support.
I'm gonna speak from my personal experience. My husband has full custody of his child, and he does not receive any child support. Not government issued. Not he never went to court. Because men don't really go down there for the see them type of things, but not even an offer, a $5 stipend, anything. So I just feel as though like a lot of times when the child support come into play, I understand that it is some days they don't pull their weight. But if you just mad because the person broke up with you and you didn't even try to work out a plan or work, around like what he making or something, you just down there being nasty and spiteful, like, oh, well, you ain't pick up the child on Friday, I'm taking you to court for child support. Like that's not the same. That's not it.
And I got to bring this in for the audience as well. Also, I'm going to drop the link as well, guys. You can also go on YouTube so you can check in if you want to call in for it. But I gotta ask, child support, from my understanding, if anybody has any corrections, please feel free to come in. It's to my understanding, it's a percentage of whoever is not the sole custody parent. It's a percentage of their pay. I believe, as far as how it is structured, if you want to take care of a child and you state that you should be the most fit parent for whatever the case may be, and whatever you and that person or that judge decides, It should not be a portion of the non-custodial parent. It should be a portion of the custodial parent's income. So, for example, and I think what's her name, Brittany Renner or whatever they get, like the girl that trapped the boy. And listen, hey, look, she did it. Is out here. That's the life. I still don't think if he makes millions of dollars, he should not pay a portion of his actual income to her. If she is the sole custody, he should pay a portion of her income. I do believe you should never be able to elevate a child. I mean, elevate your life because of a child. Period. Man or woman. Now, granted, I think this will definitely affect the women more. Should never be able to elevate your life because of a child.
I just feel like a child is not a pawn. So just because you're mad this week, if y'all went down there and y'all agreed on this amount, and you found out through the grapevine that Henry done got a raise at his job, and now you running down there because you feel like you're entitled to more, that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? I feel like,
and I agree with that 100%.
So quick.
You know what's funny?
Quick to run for child support and use that instead of having a parent physically in their life. Why?
And that's why I look at, if it really came down to money, that I agree with that 100%. If it was switched, like I was saying, and it was a portion of the custodial parent's income, if that parent starts making more, you should have to pay more. I agree with it on the flip side. I don't agree with it as to go to the opposite way. If that woman is only making $60,000 and that man makes $250,000 a year, he should pay for the $60,000 lifestyle. But also, if that woman is making she's making $40,000 annually. She starts making $70,000. She gets a raise. She has the children. That man only makes $40,000 a year. His children are now in private schools. His children are now in top of the line after school programs, great after school curriculum activities. You should pay more. If she's made more, you should pay more. You now need to work harder because your children are getting a better life. 100%. 100%. And that will also cause a lot of men
it needs
to stop impregnating in you women. And listen, I'm going to say this real quickly. A lot of women will stop trying to get pregnant by a man as a direct result of elevation. A lot of men will stop impregnating a woman. And the sad part about it is, I don't believe a lot of men will stop impregnating a woman by any types of means that, for whatever reason, they had before that. I still think that reason will preside, but they will be cautious, because I know for a fact that if I have to pay a portion of that woman's salary, number one, if I'm talking to a woman that's making $90,000 a year, and I got to pay a good portion of that, shit, that's a good, what, $15,000, $16,000 a year I got to pay. That's easy, $1,000 a month. If I get her pregnant, I have to pay $1,000 a month. Minimum. That comes out of my paycheck for that child. Because, we know it's got to come 10, what was it? I don't know the exact percentage. If anybody knows it, please drop the percentage in the comments. Please quote it. Let me know. If that percentage is 15, 16, 17, whatever the percentage is, I don't personally know it. If you're in another state, let me know what your state percentage is, but I don't particularly know the percentages. But I know for a fact that my percentage right now, let's just give it a quote, 15%. I make around about a good $70,000 annually. That 15%. So I would pay about a good $466 a month. Somebody fact check me and make sure I did that math correctly. Just want to make sure.
But like you said, if they go to a private school or stuff like that, but what happens in the instance when the father is paying child support and paying good child support, and he see his child slumming it because the mom is not using it appropriately? Is it fair to monitor what the mom is spending or the custodial parent is spending the child support on?
I've had so many discussions around that. Should we make child support just be able to pay bills? Should we make child support just be able to pay this and pay that? I hands down think that there's always a way to get around it, because if we make child support pay bills, then the extra money that the mother will have then obviously will go to whatever she chooses. So I think that's such a rough one to really regulate, because like say if we said, you know what, just like food stamps, it goes towards food. There's no way around it. Now, of course, people have found a way to buy crab legs all day, so we get it. There's a way to splurge out of it, but at the same time, it can never buy you a TV. It can never buy you a car. So
no, I mean, like instances where the father is providing for the child, and he gets there on that Friday to pick up his kid. His kid doesn't have any shoes on, but the other kids do. That's not his.
And that's where I feel as though that's where the maliciousness comes out. You go to court and you have to physically say, hey, listen, I don't think this is being done for my child, because this or that happens, or this or that. And believe me, I've been in that situation. Like I physically seen the family member I had earlier, that family member, he would give his child Jordans and Timbs. And when the mother would drop her off, he came in Skechers. But she made more than him. And mind you, we won't be materialistic to the degree, but come on, some things do matter. You don't have to be name brand, but some things can be, you know, even if you are frugal, certain things do have to be met. My daughter doesn't wear Gucci, but she has everything necessary that she needs to have in life.
I knew instances. Yeah. Like I knew instances where the father is paid $700 in child support, and the mom still wanted him to buy school clothes, and because he didn't want to buy school clothes, then he can't come pick up the child. It's like, when is it going to end? The school clothes, you know, because I feel like this. The person, whoever the custodial parent is, the other parent should pay child support, but at the same time, it's 50-50. You made the kid 50-50, so whatever he puts in, you should be putting in too. Not, I'm just going to sit around and wait for that parent to send me whatever, because at the end of the day, y'all both made the child. So one parent can't be waiting around to see what the other one is going to do.
I also feel that they should do a separate, you know, there should be a little bit of extra portion and there should also be a standard that should be met as well. If you say, my child is going to be in this and that, because I'll be honest with y'all, I signed my daughter up for softball. I went out and bought everything imaginable. I went and bought everything imaginable. She didn't even need. I bought her 3 pair of cleats. She didn't need no 3 pair of cleats, but it looked cute and it looked cool. And I wanted to be one of those dads on the sideline. I bought her new bats, this, that, and the third, and they had bats and everything that they could use. But I said, you know what, ma'am? Put that bat down. Give her bat, because that's the bat I bought. I paid some good money for that bat. She would use that bat. So when you have parents that say, well, you know what? You know, I do all this extra for my child, but when he's with the custodial parent, you know, that stuff isn't being done. And I pay child support, and then they want me to pay more, but it isn't equally fair. That's where I believe they should regulate it. I think a common denominator will be regulated for that person's lifestyle. If that woman is on Section 8, food stamps, and any type of housing, you know, authority or anything of that degree, then yes, she should not be receiving a portion of that. Whoever the actual custodial parent is. If it's a man. Once again, ladies, I've never really seen too many men that have the child and the mother is, you know, paying child support. If it is, please let me know. But in that instance, no, that custodial parent should not be receiving a portion of the other parent's income. It should be reversed.
Because I know what welfare is like. Once welfare take you to court for child support, you don't have a say-so as a father. You don't have let me show you these receipts, because whatever you provide, they're going to say is a gift. And you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of the times that the court system is like not for men. Because I knew, you know, guys that paid, you know, took care of their child, bought them whatever they needed, and just because the mom wasn't getting cash, you know what I mean? Then when they get to court, it's like, oh, well, that's a gift. That's a gift. That's a gift. Well, that's a hell of a lot of gifts. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like when it comes down to court and when the welfare get involved, I feel like welfare is like you gonna pay us because we gave her money, so we want our money. It's kind of like the mob a little bit. Like somebody is going to pay, and at the same time
So
too. And I'm sorry to say, you got to be careful who you lay down with. For real, for real.
now we got some comments on there that's agreeing with you. You know, well, we shouldn't have got her pregnant. That's 100% truth. We definitely need to make sure we are deciding who we're going to sleep with, and birth control should definitely. And you know, it's sad to say, I was going to say birth control should be at a much better, higher standpoint, but at this point, birth control is literally more than accessible for everybody. But we're gonna bring in G Money. We're gonna definitely bring in one of the first people to stream. I'll let a bunch of personal people, you know, anybody watching this, I'll let you know this is definitely my wife. And we just, you know, I don't want anybody to get any off-putting, you know, if I say anything that, you know, looks towards her. Ain't nobody bashing nobody. That's definitely my wife. I earned the right. So, G Money, what you got to say? Let me unmute you.
Mhm. So I think when it comes to child support, it should be put on like a card. You know how like you get an access card for food stamps. I feel like it should be a card just for like child support, just to buy stuff and not to buy certain things when it comes to the other parent. Do
To
that
my
make sense?
knowledge, I believe it comes on a card, but I
So,
believe it acts as a debit card. I'm not sure,
but
not
she
100.
mean
percent
like, yeah, she means like I know with welfare, welfare has cash on the card, and certain stores like Payless, it takes the SS card and stuff like that for like kids. And I think that what she means like the welfare card should be only for kids shit, so it should only work for kid items. So you shouldn't be able to pay your PGW bill
Right, or get
with
your nails and
the
stuff done.
card. You
Like
know
it
what I
should be
mean?
stuff towards your kids.
Like, hmm
And I just
That's
think
a fact.
like that to when it comes to that this certain topic.
One thing I definitely think it also should do, I feel like with that card, it should also track. One of the amazing things that we have nowadays with a lot of apps, everyone has Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, PNC, Citizens Bank. Everybody has a bunch of those cards, you know, and those banks, and that's what we bank with. And everybody has a bunch of credit unions. All of those credit unions, all of those banks, all have algorithms and to show you your actual bills, what you spend your money on. I feel like that should be something that the judge and the parent should go over in court to assess a better spending habit. Because there's nothing against even a woman that says, oh, look, well, this woman does have the child support card and she is doing right by it as far as she's paying stuff for the child. But she could be mismanaging money. That could be another way to, hey, listen, you mismanaged some of this money. And not to say you went out and bought Gucci or bought Hills or got your nails done. No, 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 no. You mismanage it as far as how you were actually using the money. Because right now, me and my wife mismanage money. It's because we make a good amount of money and we need to do better with it. A lot of people do that because you have a lot of people nowadays that say they live paycheck to paycheck and they make $90,000. That's creepy. That's creepy to say you live paycheck to paycheck and you make $90,000. Most of the country makes $40,000 to $50,000. So 330 million people in this country. The average and median is $40,000 to $50,000. So you should not be living paycheck to paycheck if you make more than that. So a lot of people mismanage money. That should be something they should take into consideration. But another thing, also, I think even was it Trey Phillips even said in there, you got to have more communication as well with between the actual parents, and that's a lot of stuff that we lack as far as in the actual circumstance that hey, you're pregnant, we now have a child. How do we take care of it? Most of these
I
things are
think
not
it's
being done.
different. I think that maybe what I'm about to say is biased because I am married. So I'm just gonna say this maybe is a biased opinion. I feel like if you was married and got a divorce and you paying child support, that's different. That's alimony. That's you having to keep up with the same lifestyle. That's different. That's
I agree
prohibited
with
from being a wife.
alimony more than
I
child support
think that I yeah,
as far
I
as how
feel
it's
like
structured.
as far as you just and then it's a lot of people that do take their child support. So I'm not going to bash people that get child support. You know, people do is a lot of people that do get child support, and half the time they child support be way less, and then they need the mom end up putting up more, but they still make sure their child have a good lifestyle. What I'm speaking of is the bums that doesn't have a job. I just feel like a lot of the times that in order to get child support, just like in order for you to get welfare and stuff like that, you have to go to a program. You should be able to have a. You should have a job. You should. I don't care if it's working 15 hours a week. For you to sit at home and just wait for child support, it's sickening. I'm sorry, it is. And you shouldn't expect this man to
I
take
agree.
care of you when he didn't marry you. I'm sorry. So you had this child out of wedlock. So he should only have to provide for this child. Period. Because you a lot of times people be like, well, I have to pay for my house and utilities, but what about the moms that get all that shit for free? You know what I'm saying? So I just feel
Mhm.
like you're not a wife or you wasn't a husband, so yep, you get the ratchet women that mess stuff up, like she said. So I'm the wife, so you shouldn't be able to try to get perks of being a wife. That man shouldn't have to carry you. He didn't marry you. And if you get mad about that, maybe you should have chose to get married. Maybe you should have chose the right partner. Period.
Getting married is a, a privilege. So when someone says this woman should receive alimony, I 100% agree. She had to work to become a wife. It's not easy becoming a wife, just like it's not easy becoming a husband. So if you put them to that lifestyle and you made an agreement before God and a minister and legally as well, that stuff makes sense as far as alimony, the way they were working or whatever the case may be, or you put them to this lifestyle. That makes 100%, you know. And I even say Trey Philly put in there, you have to keep the lights on, a place to live, food on the table, you know, clothes for after school programs, etc. So it's hard to say what child support should be used for. That's why I wholeheartedly feel it should definitely be a direct of the custodial parent's lifestyle. Whoever was going to keep the child, you should pay that. And the reason why the means definitely justify from the other side, because if I made $200,000, 10% of that is a good 20 grand. If I had to give my wife right now 10% and I make $200,000 and she makes $50,000, I'm giving her 38 or close to 40% of her salary to raise our children, even though they're going to be living a $50,000 lifestyle. And that's the point. And the reason why I say that is you would think she would be living a $70,000 lifestyle. No, false. Because I'm a betting man. I would say the odds are people of not living above their means. Oh, I'd say that's 10-1. I believe 10% of this country. No, sorry. I believe 10% of I won't say the whole world. 10% of major countries, people live within their means or less, which means the other 90% of people, that means everyone making $50,000 or $60,000, which is about a good $5,000 a month, and the net is probably around a good just average $38,000 to $4,000. So you're making about $900 a week. You're making about $900 to, let's say, $1,050 a week. You're making that much money after taxes a week. You are spending almost that same amount of money. Because I guarantee most of my followers on Facebook, I'm pretty sure you have a Gucci bag. I'm pretty sure you have a Louis bag. I'm pretty sure someone has red bottoms. I'm pretty sure someone has Saint Laurent. I'm pretty sure you have all these things. I'm pretty sure. I'm damn sure. And it's okay. You can have what you want. It's your choice. It's your life. But the rest of the world does not operate like that. You want to know why your mortgage company didn't give you a forbearance plan straight from the rip? You want to know why the top 10% said it? See, because most of the politicians in the news and all that, they told you that. No, that's not the way it works. Most people with their cars and stuff like that, they gave you a certain amount of time to pay your payments. So when COVID hit, most people that have loans like that, they gave you a little bit of leave. Okay, we can give you a month or two. We could this and the third. Yeah, we gave you the stimulus checks and this and the third. Oh, people still need help. Oh, but they got to figure it out for themselves. You know why? Because the average person is walking around with their car note, their mortgage, their loan amount, their regular bills, their cell phone bill, you're walking around with it on. And I will not do you dirty as if I'm not one of them.
I'm about to say I like the
How
good
much do the AirPods cost? How much do the suit cost? I won't do you dirty. This suit was $300.
But I think a lot of the times the problems are that a lot of people use child support in replace of the parent. So they rather have the child
And that's a
support
fact.
and screw the parent. I don't care if he in their life. I got the money, and that's it's not always about money.
And that's why I say, if all the major entities, the financial institutions, the government, and everyone, if they're only going to give you a little bit of help, why should someone else give you 50-50 help if you're not giving them 50-50 responsibility? If you're going to take on most of that child and you say, well, it's a lot, then you shouldn't be asking for that much. If I say, Jonathan, the new project that's being brought out to the company, I don't want you to me and you to split that. No, Jonathan, I don't want you to split that. I want to take on 80% of Nike's new account for our firm. I want to take on 85% of that. You'll get it on the weekends. Why would I ask Jonathan to do 50% of the work? Why would I ask Jonathan to do 50% of the work if I want to take on the new project 85% of the time? 4 weeks out of the month, I want to take all the weeks to do it. And he can take the weekends. That's 8 days out of the week. 8 days out of the month. Possibly maybe give it a take one or two more days. 9, maybe 10 days at the most. But I'm going to get 20. More than likely. Maybe even 21 or 22. See, the thing is, people want the benefit. People want the benefit. Oh, I took care of my child for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
But that benefit isn't that great when a child gets that age. Because a child really doesn't care. And it's no disrespect to a parent. Parent, want appreciation. Listen, I want a lot of appreciation. I tell my daughter all the time, you better appreciate what me and your mother bought for you. You got an iPad, you better appreciate it. But kids don't see that. Kids don't see you go to work. Kids don't see you deal with an annoying boss. Kids don't see you get on the bus. Kids don't see you work. Like, they don't see the long hours, sweat, and this, that, and the third. They don't see it. And they're not supposed to see it.
But what they
They're
do is that you may be ran dad off with your nonsense, and they'll dad rather pay the child support and say fuck it, and excuse my language, and not be bothered. And now that child's wondering why dad over here with his new family and doing for and being in their life and he not in mine. Well,
and that will cause a lot of emotional trauma. Like I said, and that's the thing. I've never understood why someone says, oh, you don't need two parents. Excuse me? You don't also need 4 wheels on a car, but wouldn't it be nice to have it? You want to drive on 3 wheels? I've never understood that. You should have both parents, so there's a balance. Even if you're not together.
Yeah,
you can still do a balance.
If you could work something out, and I know, like in child support court, they have a mediation first, and then that mediation, if y'all could sit down, come up with a number, maybe 6 months from now, see how that's going. We could come back to the table, reassess. But if you just want some spiteful, I'm running down there because you got a new girlfriend type of thing, it's just not healthy. It's not. Now the dad is on some petty stuff like I'd rather get locked up than pay. So it starts becoming crazy.
It does. It becomes chaos. And all of this is because you can't have a simple structure. If you are going to take on a child and have full custody, and whoever the non-custodial parent can have visitation, stop asking for a lot of money. The only reason where I can see where they should give an impasse and say, you know what, we need to ask more from this, is if the person is unequipped to actually say, well, I can take on 50%. If the father is not in a child's life or doing wrong, okay, well, you should make him pay more.
Philly Trey said no.
And that's 100%. I get it. I get it, because you feel as though I'm taking on this, I do need help. But that's the thing. Stop taking it on. Stop. That's why I said I understand if some parents can't. If a man can't, yes, then I believe you should put more pressure on that man.
Mm-hmm.
If a man can't, say if he can't step up to the plate Because like you said, they trade the actual parent for the money. Don't trade the parent for the money. It's
And like
not
I
worth
said, I
it.
think there's a stigma that is a lot of deadbeat fathers, and I don't know which generation this starts stemming from. Because growing up, I know that my dad was
The
probably one of
80s.
the only.
You know where it came
Uh,
from, the 80s.
yeah,
Crack pandemic.
I was born
Black
in
men going to
'89.
jail.
So growing up, we probably was like one of the only families where I seen a dad. You know what I mean? So, but now in my generation, I see a lot of fathers that are actively in the child life. And even some of the ones I know that don't have a lot of money, I still see them taking the kid to school and picking them up. And that might sound small. And and I see a mom get mad like, "Well, he don't do this and but he taking that kid back and forth to school every day so you can go to work." I know that might not sound like much, but he's there and he's trying, he's available.
All honesty, people gotta be honest. You're toxic. You don't want that child to see that parent. You're toxic. Unless there's an issue, state that there's an issue. Say, listen, I believe there is a borderline issue. And most of the time, if that's the case, you shouldn't want that parent to see the child at all. But there's an issue. State it. Hey, listen, there's an issue. There's something going on at the home, or yada, yada, yada. And if you truly believe it, fully pursue it. Because people that say there's an issue but don't pursue it, something's wrong. Because if my child is being watched by her daycare and I believe there's an issue, I'm not going to fake it or play around with it. Number one, I'm going to make it extreme. Because if you care for your child, it should be extreme. Like, let's not fake it. Because I try to tell people you should care for your spouse. But nowadays, everyone says the child cares first. I believe your spouse comes first. But people nowadays say, no, ain't nobody coming before my child. Well, keep that same energy. Please keep that same energy. If someone did something to your child, you be up there, gun in hand, ready. I need to either speak with somebody or I'm shooting somebody. Well, it should be to that degree. I see a lot of people that say, well, you know what? Something's going on. I don't really feel comfortable with him being with his dad. Well, man, we need to explore that. If you don't feel comfortable with him being with his dad, there's a entire situation we need to go through. There's a protocol we need to go through. Please, let's call CPS. Let's call the cops and let's call everybody. This shouldn't be a joke.
I do think that the fathers that don't step up for their children, they should be on child support, absolutely. But I don't think that child support
and this should be
used as a weapon.
Me and you had a conversation about this. There should also be judgments. So, ladies, don't think we coming straight at y'all. For the ladies that out there that do have are taking care of their children, and the father is a deadbeat, we believe there should also be a judgment against that man.
Yeah,
he should not be able to purchase a house or sell a house. He should not. They should go after him like credit cards. And credit cards should come second to that. He should have everything. It should go against his. I think it does go against your credit. Once again, I'm not sure. I ain't on child support.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It should go against. It should go against your credit. He should be denied certain jobs. I have friends that are in certain jobs where they run your credit. Whoa, sir, you owe child support? I'm sorry, sir, you are not available for this job. Sorry, we like it, but no, sorry. You know that felon over there? He got booked because he drove his car into this and that drunk. You know what? He made me more qualified. Sound bad scenario, guys, but just saying. He's more qualified because you need to go take care of your kids. You need to get on a payment plan and show that you're actively taking care of that balance from the child that you had.
Also, with other scenarios where now the new thing is that you have to take a DNA test because back in the day, it was the women was getting granted child support and the kid wasn't even the father's.
That's 100% a fact. There are situations right now in states where you can legally sign and say, I will be that child's legal guardian, I guess, whatever the attachment to whatever your wife, woman, child, whatever it is to the mother or the parent, you will be their legal guardian. If you sign on the dotted line, you are their legal guardian. So even if you are not biologically that child's father, you are financially responsible. That is the sickest thing I ever heard. That is the sick. I don't care if you're a good guy. I don't care if she's a good woman. I don't care if you're trying to do the right thing. That is sick. That is sick, period. You should not be financially liable. Now, if you want to, then pay the money. Ain't nobody ever denied money. Ask any creditor or debt collector in the country, the world, Earth, as in Earth, the place we live on, and it spins in this solar system. Ask any creditor or any person with a pulse on this earth that will not take your money because you said you owe them. Y'all can deposit some money in my bank account right now. See if I give it back. I'm just saying. You want to give that money? Give it.
Like I said, I'm not bashing the moms that actually take care of their kid with the money, that do right. Like I said, I know moms that get, literally, I know a mom that gets $10 a month. I know another mom that got $1 one time. Stuff like that. You're a scumbag if you ever paid your baby mom $10 a month for child support, hands down. But I'm speaking of the ones that make child support a weapon and try to use it as a replacement for a father, or trying to use it to be petty. I think that you should have no child support. I feel like you should take your behind down there and get a job and produce a pay stub for you to even get a child support. As far as the video vixens that be getting a lot of these athletes and a lot of these high profile men, if you need $100,000 to raise a child a year, you don't, a month or whatever, you don't need to have custody. Because if it takes you $100,000 to take care of a kid, then you're not able to take care of the kid, because that's ridiculous.
That's a fact. Because once again, that comes down to the topic of people are mismanaging money with child support. Also, guys, call in if you're having any trouble with the link. Copy the link, put it in your address bar. It will bring you in. Let me know if you have any situations regarding child support. And I'm going to have Miss Sewell go on this next part of child support. And then I'm going to update the link for you guys. So anybody that wants to call in, wants to give any type of scenarios or situations, let me know. Because definitely being in this situation
and I just
is
see
not
some
easy.
comments in the think chat. That is extortion, and exactly the moms that really do for their children, and the dads be running and ripping and running. It seems like the courts can never find them. It seems like the courts can never find the men that's paying $10 a month in child support, but they find the guys that's actually doing right, that's working at McDonald's $100 a week just to live. They find them men. But they don't find the other men that's paying $10 a month and $5 a month or nothing at all. They don't find them men.
The crazy thing about it is, and I'll leave it at this one. I'll bring in a caller or two. You get in a situation where you have to pay child support. The mom and the dad worked it out. The mother don't take the children. That is visitations, and you pay child support. So, what happens if you miss payments? Do you have payment plans? Can you pay it back? If a situation happens where you're unemployed, I know they have situations where men will stop working at a high-paying job and work at a lower-paying job. So the thing is, how could you regulate a way to make sure the child gets what the child needs? And we have so many topics and things around this, but one thing I've never heard from anybody give a breakdown is how much does it cost to raise a child? And give me some realistic numbers if you can. For anybody out there, how much do you think it costs to raise a child? And give me a breakdown as far as your area and income. You give me the area, I'll look up the income. We'll give a breakdown as far as how much you think it costs to raise a child. Ms. Well, you can come in if you want. I know you're in Philly, so give me a breakdown of what you think, how much it costs to raise a child, and put it all together for me. I'll add up the numbers. You let me know. And we're going to speak on one child, just one. If you have multiple, we'll work out the number as such, but this is just for one child. Comment in the section as well, guys.
Are you talking about per month or annually?
You can do per month, which is times about 12, but annually mostly will be because I usually go for everything over annually. And I'm going to bring in a caller soon. just want to get the link to make sure we have it all together.
Someone said, "Look how much you think. How much you think. Look how much you cost." Somebody said $210,000 plus.
As far as what you have to make to be able to take care of a child, I
How
don't think you
much
have to
they
make that
cost?
much.
I know I was watching the news one day and they said to carry a child to 18 is about over $500,000.
That's definitely I definitely agree with that. The amount of money I spend on daycare alone, I'm not gonna lie, is ridiculous. So the
Oh, they
daycare
said
alone for
17
so that you
years
know
is
around about.
210,000 plus.
Okay, so 17 years. Let's break that down. So annually, that's right around. Let's see. So it's right around about $12,300 a year. $12,300 a year for somebody like what, $1,000 a month,
And that's
a
probably a
little bit more of it.
standard. That's probably standard. That's probably not even including if
That's
you
a good
got
standard.
kids and extra whatever, whatever.
I think that's a good standard. If you cover school costs, clothes, diapers, and everything else, just from going through, just because some stuff will be higher, some stuff will be lower. I don't think that 210 plus is across the board. You would have to pay that 12,000 each year. Some years it might be 24,000, but the next year you might be around only like 3 or 4,000 because it's a little bit cheaper as far as for how you do the aspects of raising that child and where the money is allocated. So the biggest thing is how much should it cost to raise a child. So let's say right now we're going around about $12,000 a year, $5,000 a month. So now let's say the mother makes $40,000, the father makes $40,000, equal income. They are both grossing around the same amount. Where does the disconnect come in when one person is more financially equipped to be able to understand that, hey, listen, I might can't buy this. I put this towards my children, and the other one is I want to buy this because he's putting this towards the children. How do we work that out? Because if anyone has any stories and anything like that, I'm going to bring in some callers as well. Because if anyone has any stories, because I really am not too understanding of how, when you go down to the courts for child support, of how they do the dynamic of, well, you should pay this and how you should pay it and when it gets paid. I don't even know if you get it every 2 weeks, if you get it every month. Maybe it's when the father gets paid. Because I have some friends, they're paid every 3 months. Some people have a salary. Some people get paid all different ways. So I don't know exactly how it's all set up. So click the link below, guys. We're going to do a quick intermission just for a few minutes. I'm going to bring some people in, especially who has the actual link. And right now, I'm just going to pause for 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, back. I haven't gotten too many people that got the link together. They had some messages said the link was messing up. They weren't able to call in. When we get ready to wrap this show up tonight, me and Miss Swell will finish off the last part of the topic. I'll make sure I get the link working better for you guys next time. You can also always comment or send a message anytime you want to be on the show. I will send you an actual link so you can be able to come in, go through the link, come on the show, give your opinion, let us know, because some of these things have been crazy as far as how we just let things go for so long. Child support should have been so long ago, it's not even funny. Some of this stuff really is textbook. You would think that it's you would think that it's like so baffling, or you wouldn't be able to fix it, or we need to develop this whole structure, or get all these brilliant minds, let's get all the smart people in the world, see if we can fix this. When it's not even that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that deep. It's something really simple. This is happening. This is what this party needs. This is what this party needs. Men are saying this. Women are saying this. It is not that big of a deal. So, for my takeaway for the topic tonight, child support should definitely be switched. If you have possession of your child 85% of the time, you should not be getting a portion of the other parent's salary. They should pay a portion of your salary. Period. If you make $70,000, they should pay a portion of $70,000. Not they pay a portion of whatever they make. Period. So for the most part, it's always going to look like it's from women. Women, the men should not pay you $100,000 if he's making millions. No, man. He should pay you. How much do you make, man? What position you do? What profession you do? What are you in? Okay, you make about $80,000 a year. He should be able to push that $80,000. And then if you say, well, I also have to do this extra stuff for the child. I also have to do this and that. Well, let the dad do that. He has the right. Let the dad do that. Let the dad do that. And if he says, well, I don't want to do that, well, he also can't see his child what he wants. Yes, you shouldn't be able to ask for money when you want, because you want to do extra stuff. Because the dad doesn't get to ask for the child what he wants. He doesn't get to walk over to your house and say, hey, give me my child right now. He doesn't get to that. So you should not have the access to his money. Simple. You should not have access to his money. Simple. You should have access to the money that's used for your life. Trey Fuzzy, we got you here. We'll get you in for the last few minutes of the show. Come on in. So, topic was child support. For the most part, you've been definitely very vocal in the comments. I'll just give you a quick reference on one of the first questions we had. How do you think child support should change the way both parents can co-parent, the way it still works out for the child? If you want to bring your personal experience in, bring that in first, and then we'll proceed to the question. You're on the clock, Trey Philly. Go ahead. Trey Philly, can you hear me? Connection might be bad.
It's kind of delayed.
Oh, okay. It's probably delayed. Let me go ahead. I'm going to...
Because just repeating what you're saying.
Can you hear me now? A little bit better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So you can bring me a personal experience of child support?
No, it's delayed. Say something.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Give me your personal experience as far as for child support.
Yeah, it's delayed.
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to bring you out. I want you to come right back in.
sometimes if YouTube or you have another app open, it kind of gives it.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring you out. I'm gonna bring you back in.
Hold on. Let's see.
Come back in when you're ready.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm gonna add in Shasha. We got Shasha on the mic too. I'm gonna have you mute Shasha. Trey Philly is on the mic. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, now, I don't understand. What did you say about if
So
the
2 questions.
uh-huh.
You can bring in your personal experience as far as with child support and how you think it should change, or what in the actual child support structure should change so both parties, male and female, can co-parent better, where it works out better for the child.
Well, that's never going to happen because that's too much of a wide range of trying to get two people just to agree. So that's never
True.
going to happen. Now, the experience is basically if you feel that you're going to get this woman pregnant and y'all agree to this, then I believe that once the father step off, then he has to pay. It doesn't matter if you and the female don't work after that. Y'all should have had more time together to get to know each other before you even want to have a child together. But since that never happens, you just feel that sex is a 1 minute thing, and then now you got an 18 years of taking care of a child. And I think that you should be liable for taking care of a child. It doesn't matter what the woman makes, is what can he bring to the table to take care of his child. And if there's money in the process, then that's the only thing he can do to take care of his child, and that's what he'll have to do. It's not like the women don't want the men in their lives. It's the men are such assholes to the children. If they're assholes to the woman, if they show that they can do better with the child, then by all means, you can come get your child, you know, on the weekends, take them away, do what you got to do as a man with your child. But they don't do that. Like, it's just like, real quick, I asked you for $175 a week. You're going to fuss and fight with me and say, I ain't giving you this. Now we got to go to court.
True.
And now, instead of the 175 I asked you, now I want $900. Because the 175 was to take up for what I was missing at work to
So
help me take care of the house and the bills and the cars and all that other stuff.
I have a point to make for that. That's 100% agreeable because I know men that understand it. So this is where a little bit of emotion can backfire because I know a lot of men that will say, listen, hey, bro, you coming to play ball with us? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Listen, I gotta go handle something. What you about to go do? I'm going over my baby mom's house. I'm going to go rub her feet. Because if I rub her feet, she won't trip over that extra $150 I want. I've seen men wine and dine baby mothers that they do not want because it will financially put them in a position where they will not have to pay. So when you open up emotion, that's a
game. But
that
that's a game.
That is a game. But see, the thing is, how much of this, like I said, the question was, do you have, and you said it would never happen. And I believe it can happen, but I know why you don't think it won't happen. Is there a way to help make the situation, as far as a male and a female that have a child, is there a way to better make this child support system so that they can co-parent in a much more healthier way? Because like you said, if we go to child support, if we go to court, they're going to raise or give child support to the custodial parent based on a salary and a number.
I'm about to say, so if the $175 a week is less than what he makes, it might backfire and you might get $50 a week.
Whatever the case may be, because it's going to go by a number. But the biggest thing is when you open up emotion, that can cause a big backfire, because what if the man is emotionally positive? What if the man says everything the woman likes and he rubs her feet and he stands by her? Because my wife gets on my nerves and she gets on, and I get on hers. So we annoy each other, but we have a common goal. Now it's a lot easier because we're married because we have to stick it out. The issue is, when do you decide, take emotion out of it, and we develop a plan? When can you put a plan into it? Because emotion can be like, it's two-sided.
But that was the plan. The plan was, okay, I'm not going to try to take all your money. That was the normal thing. But then when you start not agreeing to just a little bit that I asked for, and then when I do call and say, listen, I need a couple of dollars for the Pampers. Now, Pampers run out every 2 weeks. Now I need money for his clothes. Now I need money for
Now
her
I'm gonna stop you there. Agreeing is subjective. Agreeing
But
is
isn't that the point of trying to make it better? If you agree with a situation together,
well, no,
I guess it
not when the
depends.
child support system is
I
in
guess it
place.
depends if it's realistic. I think that asking for Pampers and the essential items that kids need, like milk and pamper wipes and stuff like that. But if you're asking for car note money and this man was never your husband or something like that, I think that's a bit beyond.
And the reason why it would never get to that point is because we have the government involved. The government is only basically, you two have not come to an agreement on this human you have made, which we will step in and regulate it. The regulation is off. So can we make these regulations a little bit better? Because if you haven't decided, most of the time, two people that can keep the government out of their business, they usually tend to prosper. And the child tends to prosper.
how many people does that?
Well, I know quite a few people that can keep the government out of it. On a larger scale, no. But that's why I want the regulation. How do we make the regulation better? Because if two people can't come to their own agreement, they have to bring in the government. I gotta bring in Shay. I gotta bring in Shay because Shay, you on the clock. I gotta ask you, gotta get your input as well. Do a mic check, make sure you can hear me okay. Bring in your own personal experience. What do you think should change about child support as far as how it's regulated between a male and a female to actually take care of a child? Or you can bring in your own personal experience. You're gonna unmute yourself.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You on the mic. So did you get all that? Did you get all my question?
I think I can agree with Raven with the things everything being realistic, like the things that they are asking for being realistic, and like, just not asking for things that are unrealistic, like, oh, I need my bills paid, or I feel like that stuff that that's kind of on them, honestly, as far as like their bills and stuff like that. But I also can agree in the sense of, if I'm asking, for diapers or wipes or things in that nature, or like, paying for childcare or things like that, I
Now,
feel
once
like that's
again,
something they should help with, because that is something that we both should pay
Now,
for.
once again, I'm agreeing with the fact that a child will need certain things. But once again, these agreements can be subjective. Me and my wife disagree with how many diapers we send to our daughter's school. We do not use as many, and we use them differently. We disagree, and it can come down to a medical standpoint. Have anyone asked the doctor
this the thing, though,
how much you should change a child?
The government do sometimes go overboard as far as pricing. Like, I was a couple of situations that I know of where they'll be like, oh, I got paid them they're my whole check, and I feel like that is extreme,
and that's
because
what
most
men
of the
are
time
considered.
that stuff don't be that much. Like,
I love taking up for my brothers.
Like, it's this one guy I know.
You got to take the L if you had 60 to 70% of your check taken away from child support, because it was to my understanding that each child get a certain percentage. So if you have 60 to 70% of child support taken away from your check, how many children do you have?
Stop making
right?
But
It's this one guy that I know.
Have less children.
Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Let Ms. Raven go. Ms.
I know
Sewell,
that
go.
sometimes if you have less children, that hurts you in the long run because if you have less children, let's say you only got one child, they only looking at it like, oh, you only got to provide for this one child. So they want to run you up. Now, if you got 3 and 4 kids that you got to provide for, then it kind of get a little better because they ain't going to hit you as hard. But I just feel like that if you have that one kid, that number can get ran up. And that's when guys start getting bitter and they start getting petty.
Now, I do
No,
got a
what
quick
about this
question.
though, Anthony? Because listen, it's this one guy that I know, and he said he makes 600 a week, right? But he is paying his baby mom half his checks every week, right? But she doesn't have a job.
That's
I feel like that is out of control. Like things like that is out of control because, like, come on now, like you not
So
even.
and let's put that in perspective. If he has a home, he has to pay rent. If he has a car, he has to pay a car note, or possibly just the maintenance of having a car. If he has bills, he has bills. She may have bills as well. However, it's worked out, however she's doing it, but she is elevating her life.
mm-hmm.
Her life would be worse if she didn't have that child.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be able to elevate your your life because of a child.
So what do
So
you do with the
that's
child
But I
if she doesn't get the money? What do we do?
the child needs to go with the other parent.
But do he want the child?
And the thing is, if he doesn't want the child and she's willing to take that on, he needs to pay a portion of what it actually is that she is living off of.
but sometimes they do want the child, but the women act like they can do it, but they
I feel
can't.
like a lot of times I think the government take advantage of the women. I feel like when you go down to child support and you file on your own, let's say you didn't go through welfare, you went there on your own. I feel like they get the fair end of the stick. I feel like the only way you get something is if you go through welfare and they give you that $100 in cash and they taking your baby father to court for 600, but they gonna throw you that $100. So I feel like they take advantage of a lot of these moms because they'll go and they'll do it on their behalf and get them $100 a month or $200 a month. But in reality, they taking the baby father for $600-700. That's not benefiting the kid. That's actually taken from the mom and the dad.
And that's where I say the business of child support, it
It's a
would make
business.
so much sense to keep having people pop out babies left or right and come to us as a mediation. That's a business that, and I'll say to myself, I would invest in. That's a business I would invest in because that's a lucrative business. I don't see a shortage of children, and I don't see a shortage of people not being able to reconcile and co-parent in the correct way. I don't see a shortage in that in no way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they don't push for that. They push for the mom to do that. So they take it from the mom, and at that point, if the mom has to go through all that, the mom needs the money, so she's going to take whatever they giving. And the dad is getting screwed, the mom is getting screwed. At the end of the day, so is the kid.
And this is where we have to make sure we're making much better choices. Like everybody, it seems like everybody always boils down to make much better choices for who you're going to lay down with, who you're going to have a child with. So it starts with that. Now that's going to be it for the show for the night, guys. We definitely went over. Normally we keep it an hour, so some of this might be edited out. Check it out. We're going to have another show this Thursday. We're going to do a 2-part of the show. I'm going to put in 2 topics to let people go in on whatever they feel though they want. And I'm going to also stream it on YouTube as well. And it'll be posted that way you can comment afterward. Instant message me if you need the link. Anytime the link is acting funny, copy and paste the link, put it in your address bar. I will add you in. That was it, guys. You guys have a good one. Give a special shout out to my co-host, Miss Sewell. She's always doing her thing. I got another co-host as well, Miss Tony G. She cannot be here tonight, and also Mr. Providence. They will also be on the weekly show on Saturday and Sunday, and throughout the week, it will be me and just one co-host. All right, you guys have a good one. Thanks for tuning into the Avenue Eve show. Tonight was child support. I think we got a lot covered tonight. And deuces.